And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and I am a dirty liar. A dirty, dirty liar. I'm sorry, Gary.
You are.
I'm sorry.
We were not able to pick the game,
Oh.
but that's okay. We forgive you.
Hearts? Hearts?
Hearts.
Yay, hearts. Okay. So yes, we came out of the game, and I had several messages from the admin saying, your game's set up, it's already going, here's your draft, get to it. It's like, awesome. That never happens. So good job adminning Spirit Jew, Miss Honey. Thank you guys. You are here, of course, with the Heroes Hype Amateur League Series, and we're moving into the winners quarterfinals as both teams here have already won a match. And taking a look at the bracket, Backlash has beat out Blood Sports to be here, and Shot and the Bullets has taken out Flex. So these teams going into Cursed Hollow, they already have a win under the belt. They're feeling confident. Let's see who can move on to the semis, Miss Gilly.
That's right. I know nothing about either of these teams, but I'm really excited to see who will win here on Cursed Hollow. Backlash will get the first pick and first ban, and right now they've chosen to ban Illidan, something we've seen before.
And probably something you're going to see quite a bit more as the night goes on. Illidan, if you guys don't know right now, is like the quintessential, maybe not quintessential, but he's one of the polarizing comps that you can actually pick out here. And if it's not going to be an Illidan, which turns into Protect the Illidan, which is take 2 supports, a good range DPS, and then you kind of just go diving with Illidan and just healing the crap out of him. If it's not going to be that, it's going to be a Protect the Hammer comp. Those are the 2 big polarizing ones right now. So Rhaegars are big bans because you disable the Illidan, or at least you have a harder time with it. And Sergeant Hammers are bigger on the bans as well, or Nazebos, because they both secure those kind of big range specialist DPS ways to go. But it's actually not going to be either of those bans. It will be the old school Stitches ban, because this was the map that basically made Stitches the big beast that he is.
Maybe Shot and the Bullets saw a little bit of the Stitches play from last game. Like, I don't want to deal with that. That's too crazy.
Well, if you play Hero League, a lot of the time, a lot of the first pick material guys, they give the people that go in with parties, they'll give whoever their warrior is the party leader, so that he gets first pick, and then they'll just pick out Stitches. Almost 100% you see Stitches these days. He's just overall a really great frontliner.
Yeah, he really is. And that hook makes you always able to turn a game too. One good hook can turn an entire team fight. And then, of course, this game is so crazy and the comeback ability is so real that that can definitely change the tide of the game. Backlash has gone ahead with the first pick, and they've picked Vala.
Nice.
Thoughts there?
Well met.
Excellent back-end DPS. She's almost 100% pick and ban these days. Weirdly enough, we didn't see a Vala last round, which, again, weird. But, in terms of just the general acceptance of her, she is pretty much the go-to ranged assassin these days. Tychus has been hit by nerf bats. Falstad has been hit by nerf bats. They fill different niches now, but when it comes to just straight-out damage, yeah, a lot of the time, it's just the Vala. So... we talked a little bit about this earlier. If it's not going to be an Illidan comp, it will be a Sergeant Hammer comp. And the first pick to go with the Hammer is going to be the Tassadar. So a nice laner, great bruiser, brings a healing ward to the table and a lot of shields.
Yeah, he's so versatile. I really love Tassadar, and then, of course, he gives vision too with his hero trait Oracle. So that's really great, especially here on Cursed Hollow. There are so many nooks and crannies on this map that being able to have vision pretty often is just amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Oracle is a really good point that you bring up. Definitely one of the bigger strengths. And taking a Tassadar also deters stealth picks like Nova and Zertul, because on demand, you get pumped out of stealth. So many people just cannot deal. They're like, I'm sneaky, yeah, stealth, yeah, I'm going right up to you. Then you get caught. It's like, well, why were you there? I mean, you're stealthy, but could still get caught. Sometimes
You're
that's
still
hard.
way out of position.
Exactly, yeah. So, so it's good deterrence to that. Great overall pick, goes well with a lot of team comps. So this feels like a steal here from Backlash. They are going to take the Battle Cow, and they put an Uther right beside him. It's a nice front line, but the most popular warrior to protect the Hammer right now is actually ETC. So I think Backlash made a really good decision taking that away from them.
Oh yeah, why do you typically see ETC with Hammer?
It's a little strange, but you know, a lot of the other warriors have actually been hit by nerfs by the nerf bat. You know, they've had their skills reduced or their survivability reduced. You know, stuff along those lines. But ETC has not really been touched, patch to patch to patch. So he looks a lot stronger. And now that, you know, a lot of this is polarizing around protecting the hammer, Face Melt pushes people away. He brings a stun, and he can bring global control with the stage dive or area control with Mosh Pit.
Yeah, and of course, him with Uther too, that's going to be, if he does pick Mosh Pit, that could be a Divine Storm and Mosh Pit, which is scary.
That's absolutely scary. Yeah, for sure.
On Shot in the Bullets, we have Malfurion and Nazebo, so more Ravenous Spirit. And Nazebo plus Hammer, if Backlash can't figure out a way to deal with those, that's a ton of damage. What are you thinking here?
Well, we don't have an assassin for Shot in the Bullets. They have double specialist. And, well, I mean, it's hard to say no to Nazebo when he's not banned. It really is. The Ravenous from afar is absolutely terrifying. He's a great solo laner. He's a great Merc jungler. He's a great team fighter. He really is like the whole package. He's not really like, I call it, whenever I see assassins and then a specialist, I call it the 2.5 build, because it's 2 and then, like, you know, the specialists do a huge amount of damage, but they're not technically classified as assassins. That's why I call them halves. So here, bringing the Hammer and the Nazebo, we're looking for a very strong front line from Shot in the Bullets to protect that very strong back line. The problem is they got double support and no warrior. And look at that. The Diablo's taken out now here by Backlash. They have the ETC. They have stuns. A lot of stuns. If they go Zagara here as well, Shot in the Bullets is going to be up a creek when it comes to a lot of these team fights, because there's so much area denial.
That just is so many stuns. I cannot believe it. And taking away the Diablo too, I mean, really all Shot in the Bullets has left is Muradin, I guess? What do you think? Arthas?
It's not going to be Stitches. Diablo's out. ETC is out. Muradin, I don't know. Muradin doesn't really give me the confidence to solo tank, really, which is weird because he is one of the tankiest tanks out there.
Right.
But, I mean, Tyrael is basically a no-show these days in NA. Arthas could be it with the area denial with his Howling Blast and stuff. There's the Zagara that I was talking about.
You called it.
Yep. Yeah. Anubarak and Chen. Chen actually would not be terrible here because he has the barrel. The barrel is unstoppable, and it will actually break up that big stun gaggle that Backlash could bring to them. It's a very European strat, so I don't know if Shot in the Bullets, I don't know if they're up on that, but I wouldn't actually be against Chen. You're likely to see Muradin or Arthas, but I wouldn't be against Chen.
Yeah, especially with that small change to Storm Earth Fire, Chen's other heroic ability. We've seen the barrel a lot more, and then of course what happens is Chen turns into a barrel called the Wandering Keg, and then can move around and displace enemies, so whoever he hits gets thrown in the direction he's hitting them. I always find it crazy to try to control, but I'm sure whoever this player is who will be playing Chen or Muradin as the pick comes out would have been able to handle it. So we do see the Muradin pick. With that, I think the teams are filled.
Indeed.
And final thoughts for Quick Jester?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't end up going with the European Chen, which is fine. I mean, it is across the ocean. A lot of these amateur teams are either going to be watching or they're not. I always just assume they're not. Shot in the Bullets, they said either they don't have it, they're not confident with it, or they're just more confident with the Muradin. So we'll have to see if the counter stuns from Muradin can do it. I have reservations about these. I mean, if Backlash gets off some of these perfect engages, there's nothing Shot can do about it. They're literally just going to stand still and die from 100% to 0 because they're just perma-stunned. But if Shot in the Bullets can like bait out some of these, or they can get some catches, or they just go for a straight push and disengage, they have definitely a shot at taking this.
Definitely, there's a ton of damage on their team. All they have to do is stay alive.
And they got double support to do it, double healing ward to do it. So we have to see if they can. All right, so we're going to tell the teams that we are ready to go. Casting is set. What is your predictions, Miss Gilly? What do you think of these teams?
My predictions. Well, I think I'm going to go with Shot in the Bullet still. That is a ton of damage. If they can hurry and take out the Vala, then they're really just left with, you know, ETC, Uther, Diablo, and then Zagara. So I'm going to have faith in the Muradin, and I think that I'm going to go with a Shot in the Bullets. What about you? You're still leaning toward Backlash?
Not sure I'm leaning towards either team. It's just, I see the vulnerabilities and it's a little hard to call. It comes down to how they play. Now, I will confess, I actually know some of the guys here on Shot in the Bullet. I play quite a bit there with Bass Drop, and he's actually done quite a few guides over on HeroesFire, which is probably a site that these teams should know about. Personally, my recommendation. But, so I know that I know that these guys know how to play the game. I don't really know the players on Backlash. So if I had to lean either way, I'm probably going to lean towards Shot in the Bullets. But if Backlash can get off these stun wombos, then wow, it's going to be a heck of a scene. I realized I didn't hit that button. There we go, guys. We're into the game. As Cursed Hollow. Would you like to tell us a little bit about Cursed Hollow, Miss Gilly?
I would love to. So Cursed Hollow is this map, and what's going to happen for the map mechanic is that different tributes will pop up throughout the map, and then teams have to channel to collect them. Of course, attacking them breaks the channel, and so you have to start all over again. Once a team gathers 3 curses, then the other team is cursed, and that means that their structures won't attack for a minute, and all of their minions have 1 hit point each. So it's a great time to push. It's a horrible time to try to defend if your team is cursed. And then, of course, from there, once the curse is lifted, it starts all over again.
Exactly right. So you see the repeating pattern here. It's not going to be Dragon Knights today. It will be the curses. And, you might not pilot something, but you can definitely push and look for those advantages. So what have we got for some of our lanes? We have the 3-man top coming out from... I don't even remember what. Shot in the Bullets. There we go.
Shot in the Bullets.
We got our tanks with the wet noodle fights there in the mid, and we did actually have 3 of the Backlash in the bottom looking for that traditional party lane. And I'll tell you why in just a second, but they opt to actually rotate up, and they're going to be looking to catch the pushing comp here from Shot in the Bullets.
So on the blue side, we have Baby Nova, Sky, Wadafra, and Mortachi, and Disclaimer. Then on the red side, we have Visceral, Bass Drop, Shot, Barcode, and AKA Face.
So yeah, Barcode, assuming it's the same Barcode that I know, Barcode and Bass Drop I've definitely played with. Wadrafrock was here last week, although I believe he was on a different team. So it's interesting to see, new composition. Don't recognize some of these other players, but the rotation up to the top, they're really looking to limit the early game push from not only the Nazeebo, but the Sergeant Hammer. If you leave these specialists alone in their lane or you can't properly contest them, you might find yourself short a tower or 2 this early on, and that's a good chunk of experience in these early levels.
Yes, and you definitely don't want to get too behind in experience on this map, because when it comes to getting those tributes that I talked about, if you get too behind and then the other team hits that level 10, which provides the heroic abilities, then it is very difficult for you to try to get tributes. And it usually falls right around the 3rd tribute that spawns. So it's really scary. You want to try to keep up with experience, which both teams are doing a great job of so far.
Absolutely. You can actually get 10 before, but you'd have to be on a very good early game tear. And it's a little unfortunate. We have 6 team members between them all the way into the top lane, but the first tribute's going to be spawning bottom. If you don't know about the tributes, they always spawn the first one in the middle. So it's either going to be top middle or bottom middle. 100% always the first. From there, you do follow an algorithm going back and forth. I believe it can't be 3 times in the same hemisphere. It can't be twice in the same vertical column. And so there are some rules that you can use to try to predict some of these tributes, but Disclaimer is having a heck of a time capping it.
Yeah, we're not seeing anybody from top lane so far come down for it, because I think nobody wants to let the other push. So we're just seeing them kind of leave the first tribute alone. and just continue laning. Nobody wants to try to give up any of the experience.
A little interesting that neither team is actually willing to send somebody else bottom lane to secure it. But it's understandable for the Sergeant Hammer. She doesn't have a mount that the others do. So she doesn't exactly have that mobility to go from all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. And then let's just say, they get it anyway. She has to be all the way back to the top. So if the Hammer's not leaving, that means Malfurion's not leaving because he has to heal her. And it looks like Shot just doesn't have any interest in going to get it. And anybody else that tries to one-on-one, it just turns into a poke and soak, and nobody captures it whatsoever. Now, we do got Zagara mid. So one of these guys is going to be going bottom. Or, okay, yeah, sure, both of them. It's a road trip, sure. And they're going to deal with Visceral. Visceral's going to be able to poke maybe once or twice with that Psy Storm. There it is. And that is going to be it for him. So finally, we will have the tribute into the pocket of Blue. And good news for Blue, too. They got themselves that kill on Sergeant Hammer off camera. So they're looking good.
That is awesome. The kill is going to start to move them up in experience. I've never seen so late a first tribute, so I have no idea how this is going to work. But
yeah,
we'll have
level
to see
10
the timing.
by second tribute.
Yeah. I'm going to be confused a little bit.
As I said, sometimes you can get it earlier, but that was definitely a long stall. Here goes Sky with the help of Baby Nova. They're looking for the kill on top of Shot. Nice body blocking coming in. Is that actually going to be enough? One shot too few to kill that Witch Doctor. But Barcode didn't actually swap lanes. Came right back to the top after that death, and with Zagara here, everybody's just going to be completely soaking. There's like no building damage on anybody's side, so that's a little atypical, but either way, we're on track for 10.
Yeah, it looks like Shot has taken down almost one tower up top, but for having a Nazebo and Sergeant Hammer, I feel like Backlash is doing a pretty good job of trying to hold them off of getting more.
Absolutely, yeah. And sometimes the teams will just try to bank on the fact that, with the tribute so far away from the Sergeant Hammer, that she won't come to the fight. But then, of course, you have to leave somebody to mitigate. So either way, as you said, the first tribute was in the middle, and now the second one is off to either the left or the right, and the top or the bottom. In this case, it is actually the top right. This actually should be a good case for the Hammer to come down and contest, but Red, a little bit too late. And they don't actually interrupt any channeling. That's a free, quick tribute into the pocket here of Backlash. That's a scary position for Red to be in right now.
Yeah, Sky was really smart. Blue team got their level 10 heroic abilities just slightly before, so Sky ran up to be there right when it spawned. Nazebo dropping the Gravitas here on Zagara, but Zagara just turns around and Ma's shot. Now the Apocalypse drops and Zagara goes down. Shot is so low, but within that tranquility, he is just barely staying alive, dancing while he's doing so, thanks to Mortachi, who goes down from the Avatar.
Dance to heal, dance, everybody, dance. Mordechai put on a heck of a concert, and unfortunately, kind of went sour for him at the end of it all. So. Yeah, didn't actually expect that aggression. I kind of really expect to see the teams kind of dissolve after that. But hey, 2 quick kills going the way of the Shot in the Bullets leads them into a nice boss. And this is good timing because the next tribute's up, and you can see Visceral, he's already down there poking at it. If he can prolong it a little bit longer, which it looks like he can't, they would have, again, been in a very strong position here for Red because the boss will be pushing down top and they can prolong the fights not getting cursed. Fortunately, that is not the case, and they will get cursed, but again, top is going to be, very busy with Blue, and if Blue is on the defense during their curse, that means they're not really getting a lot out of it.
Right. This is the time when Backlash wants to be pushing. They want to try to take down, at the very minimum, a bunch of towers, but it would be nice to get a fort even as well, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to get too much. The curse is already halfway done, and they're just now starting to work on that tower. But meanwhile, Shot is pushing here at mid. So they're pushing, and it's not even their curse. That's pretty good.
This is, well, one of the better scenarios here for Red because they got the kills, Shot in the Bullets were able to get the boss, and now they're counter pushing into the mid. So even during the curse against Shot in the Bullets, they're able to actually evenly trade out, which again is not the best of positions for Backlash, because now they don't have the constant pressure of getting that next tribute for a curse. And yeah, they definitely came out a little bit more sour on that one. Now we do got a little bit of a fight here. Disclaimer gets a little bit low. We saw the strafe coming out there from Baby Nova. There goes the Maw. He's taking somebody down into the depths of his AKA face. And that actually does stop out the Tranquility, believe it or not. And as we saw, they were able to collapse and get that kill. But it's not quite over yet. You got some healing wards down on the floor as well. Mordechai not really thinking of using that mosh pit, but we still also have the Apocalypse ready to go for the disengage, but they don't need it.
Yeah, so with 10 seconds left, not too much they could do to push. Instead, I think Blue Team's just going to go and try to get some working done. Have you seen anything interesting in talents this round from either team? I
just realized I didn't even have them up. Bad shout.
It's a good time.
Bad shout. Taking a look at it, Zagara, fairly common. She actually did go for the Mutalisk. We saw Group Spine's last game from our Zagara, so it's a little bit of a personal preference. The Mutalisk, however, does count as a flying unit. You can see it right here. And it will actually show you, the true vision around. That's not right. The eagle eye vision. So it can actually look over walls and through bushes and all that for it. So that's possibly something that went into it here. But I guess we're going to shelve that, looking for this good fight. Oh, Baby Nova with that fantastic strafe in the back of the Divine Storm, looking to bring Red all the way down. Mordechai does get all the way forward. They have the second healing ward down now as well. Base drop is actually still very healthy. The Battle Cow could become leather. It means that he's going straight up there to my hat. But Sky not looking so healthy here either. Wadrafok now is going to be on the retreat. And by the end of it all, looks like it will be a 1-for-1. Unfortunately, though, Shot, okay, they'll take Cigar, but Shot couldn't stop the boss, and now they have to turn their attention to that.
I thought Sky did a great job of trying to push my Zebra out of the way, but because Backlash was so grouped, they still did take a bunch of damage from it. So while Red Team has to deal with this Golem down at bot, Blue Team's going to try to head up to stop that Murden from taking the tribute, and we'll have to see what happens. Blue Team still has Cigar down for 5 more seconds.
Yeah, and then, she has to kind of mount up and scuttle all the way forward and get in position. 5 seconds turns into 15, turns into 20. I mean, right now, Sky, he's engaging on a numbers disadvantage. Here comes the Sergeant Hammer from afar as well. And Disclaimer's not looking so healthy. Sky's down to half. Red is almost guaranteed this tribute now because of this zone. And, yep, there it is. It is going to be that. The Maw does go down and takes Sergeant Hammer into the depths for a little bit, but there's no big follow-up, no big wombo. Haven't really seen, that Apocalypse, Maw, and Mosh Pit, back to back to back. So, we talked about this back at the beginning. If we can get that wombo off, Backlash could win easily, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Shot's doing a great job of trying to stay spread out on a map where that's not always possible, especially when you're instinctively wanting to stick close to Sergeant Hammer to keep her alive. So Red Team is now coming to the bottom lane. They're going to try to start that siege up on this fort while they've got the level 16 talents. Mortachi is trying to get in to get that mosh pit. They do flip over Sergeant Hammer, who is trying to thrust his way and does get away. Meanwhile, Disclaimer goes down, followed shortly by Vala. There's the Mosh Pit Apocalypse. Okay, but no follow-up. Vala's dead. Zagar is trying not to be dead. And then Ravenous Spirit, though.
Trying not to be dead. I always try not to be dead. Yeah, right. Really good juggling there from Shot in the Bullets. They did not lose anybody. They used all their defensive options. Blue really did kind of bungle their offense. A big part there was you saw the Battle Cow. He went in early, but he got concussive blasted as he was trying to mosh pit. That put a 10-second cooldown on the mosh pit. That's what really screwed up that fight. If we didn't have that interrupt, had that mosh landed on all three of Red, of Shot in the Bullets, it would have been a very different fight. But unfortunately, it came out so late, there was no follow-up, as you said. Zagara was already being pressured out. Vala was already dead. And as we saw there, Base dropping crew were able to just take that fight. So they're going to go for a quick boss. That's going to be, well, very likely the death of the top fort. And one more tribute will be their curse. And that could be a very devastating late game combo.
Yeah, when I'm playing versus a Sergeant Hammer and my team is cursed, I'm always very scared and sad because the sieging already from her is so devastating, and then on top of that, to have my buildings not attacking anybody who's hanging out with her is rough.
Absolutely. Yep. Taking a look at some of the numbers, hero damage definitely being led out here by the Sergeant Hammer. She's actually losing out in siege damage to the Tassadar. That's a little strange, but you know, the game ain't over quite yet. Blue is really coming up here. Backlash looking for revenge on that last fight. Disclaimer, however, gets immediately bursted down. He's now going to be on the retreat. We don't have a mosh pit. 5 seconds left. We do have an Apocalypse ready to go, but there's absolutely nobody here to combo on the back of it. 1, 2, and 3. The hat trick is complete. Now Mordechai is actually now on the retreat with the Vala. The lone survivor is there. And, bad news for them.
Yeah, Vala did, oh wait, never mind. I'm just getting confused. So they are going to have to take care of this golem. They'll take it out, but it probably will get that tower. And now they've got a hammer that's going to be on keep. So, looking pretty grim for Backlash. What would be your suggestion here at this point for getting back into the game as Backlash?
Well, they're 2 levels down. They're going to be looking at Storm Talents very soon on the opponents. Realize you didn't really get to the talents, but, you know, we got a pro there in the chat. Guys, you can see the color, so I'm just moving for you. But, you know, some of these engages are just absolutely sloppy. I mean, we're really trying to get ETC into the midst of things to get off that mosh, but he keeps getting denied again and again. You got to change up your tactic. You're going to have to get, you know, Disclaimer, sprinting in there. He has the sprint. He has to get in there with that Divine to set up for the mosh, to set up for the Apocalypse, to get that chain going. Relying on the Battle Cow puts a 10-second cooldown on it, and as we've seen, fight after fight has now gone into this late game power from Shot in the Bullets. So when you're 2 levels down, the best thing you can do is try to get a pick, but it's going to be very hard against a team that follows, you know, the rule of never split up. And look at this ambush just being set.
Oh my goodness, Vernon jumps in, immediately Watercrack is taken out. The mosh pit does go down and catches 3 people while the golem pounds, but Ravenous has now been casted and just takes out everyone. Nobody stopping him, and GG.
Mistakes were made. Oh my goodness, that Ravenous was money at the end. GG's call.
Ravenous is, yeah. Ravenous in those tight corners is just insane.
Massive, yeah. Now that was actually a much better fight from Blue, despite the fact that, you know, they got initiated on. They were all, you know, Shot in the Bullets were all clumped up. The Apocalypse hit many of the opponents. I'm not entirely too sure what actually kicked EVC out of its ult, but that was actually much better that round. The problem is it's too little too late. It's level 20 to 18. There's a boss coming out to the bottom and nobody here to defend the core, and that means Shot in the Bullets is going to be moving on here to the winner semis for round 2 of the Amateur League. Yeah, from HeroesHype. It's the HeroesHype Amateur League. I should probably figure that part out by now.
It's all right. We got more games to get it perfected. We'll get there. Congratulations, Shot in the Bullets. You're moving on, but don't worry. Backlash will be headed into the, what did you call it? What? I can't remember.
The bracket of alternate success.
Yes, the bracket of alternate success. So we could see them again.
Yeah, there's no losers here, guys. There's no losers bracket. It's just the successful bracket and the alternately successful bracket. That is how you think of it there. It's just like, all right. But yeah, so it is the double elimination. They will fight their heart out in that bracket, and we'll find out who will move on to join or to hopefully rejoin somebody here in the grand finals. Taking a quick look at it now, though, Blood Sports is for sure out. Flex has moved on there. Psionic is out. Prime Evils won there. And yeah, They actually are going to be awaiting some of their next rounds. So I suspect we're moving on once again, all right, to the winners semis, which according to the website is a round of, it's a best of 3. I wasn't aware that the semis were best of 3, but we'll confirm that. But a best of 3 is actually much better to gauge skill than a best of 1, because you definitely test the waters in your first game and then adjust for your second. That brings you a lot of hype for the third. So if it is a best of 3, I'm very excited to see what our teams will do. And we'll figure it out from there, Miss Gilly.
That sounds great to me, guys. We will be, I think, back soon with more games for you here at the HeroesHype NA Amateur Series Week 2.
All right.